I got bad news for you, human racers. That sounds weird. Humans, people of the human race, we're under attack. Aliens, I mean, obviously. Well, hello there, sir. Excuse me. We've got 100,000 of the Earth's finest. I think the Earth will break before these guys do. And we have, when you look in the back of this line, we've got field artillery. That's a pretty good defense. The issue is if the aliens get to the city, well, they're gonna kill everybody, right? But these aren't normal aliens. There's a problem with these aliens, guys. These are the classic xenomorphic aliens. If they kill a human, they will convert him into another human. If we don't lose, well, if we don't win this battle, we lose it. And that means all 100,000 guardsmen right here. The guardsmen of the human race will convert into xenomorphic aliens, and we'll have to fight them in the next one. So that brings us to today's sponsor, Star Wars Hunters. Now, Star Wars Hunters is an all-new free-to-play game. It's going to be available on Nintendo Switch, the iOS, and Android. And it's intense 4v4 third-person combat with multiple types of PvP game modes that you can partake in. Now, you're going to be playing as a hunter, and you're going to customize them by collecting them and equipping them with different costumes, animations, and weapons appearances. And the characters are going to span the galaxy, everything from the nefarious bounty hunters, and even Imperial stormtroopers, and everything in between. The battlefields themselves are going to evoke iconic Star Wars locales, and you can support me and download the game for yourself using the link in the video description below or this QR code. And I want to say a big shout out and thank you to Star Wars Hunters for sponsoring today's video. So check the game out, let me know what you think. I should have brought more men. I should have brought more artillery. Now, all we need is our troops to open fire, and they're starting to open up right now. You can see that there's 100,000 Xenos that have landed here, and 100,000 defending guardsmen, accompanied by 20 artillery pieces. But there's an issue that we're realizing right now. These things are strong. They're taking last gunfire straight to the face and just shrugging it off. Only a handful have gotten taken out by the enemy defensive fire. And you're talking about tens of thousands of troops only able to dish out just maybe 200 casualties? This is going to be a problem. We really should have brought more firepower because the next battle, there will only be more of them. Now, the Xenos have finally made it to the front line of the guardsmen, and they are absolutely tearing them to pieces. Oh gosh, this is brutal. Even with the just like sheer blinding amount of laser fire coming from this. Let's get an aerial view just to see how dire the circumstances are for the defending human race. Look at that city. Can you just imagine you playing on your Super Nintendo up here in one of these high rises thinking, oh Lord, there's been aliens outside. And well, you know, but you're like, well, I can't flee the city. I can't pause this game. I gotta finish this level. We've all been there, right? You know, the defenders have less kills than the attackers at this point, even though they had all that amount of time. I think the issue might be we need to upgrade our artillery pieces. And I know what you're thinking, Baron. Use robots, use droids, something like that. Nah, man, humans are just better, right? You know, that we can't encourage AI to take over the human race. Like, what happens if we use droids and they turn on us as humans? Like, we can't control that, man. Yeah, this isn't going very well. Oh, an explosion of aliens! The 88 millimeters, when they hit, man, do they hit. Oh, wait a minute. I just realized that, like, if the aliens break through this, they're gonna eat everyone in the city, and we won't even be able to protect the city. We'll have to protect one of the little towns nearby. Wait a minute, this isn't gonna be 200,000 aliens. This might be like 1,000,000 aliens to fight after this. That is a terrifying thought. Maybe we are gonna have to use AI, robots, droids. Terminators would be terrifying because they would more than likely turn on the humans if and when they survived. And I know what you're thinking. What if, like, you know, they were to use water, like water traps? Could that delay the Xenos? I mean, potentially. I guess it could, in theory, drown them, maybe? No, they seem to just be running through it. However, a lot of them, I think, got taken out by it. I'm not sure if those... Yeah, that's definitely a disproportionate amount of Xenos. Actually, maybe not. All of the ground just looks like a mix of Xenos and humanoid bodies just lying lifelessly next to each other as the eggs begin to incubate inside of the human hosts. It's a pretty horrific thing. Now, you gotta keep in mind that the humans, I guess, worst comes to worst, could fire a nuke, but they don't have very accurate targeting mechanisms, and as a result, that nuke was a miss. Who is in charge of the nuclear missile codes? Look at this. Some of the Xenos, like, have somehow, oh, they get hit by artillery, and it actually flings them deeper in the lines, thus breaking up the defensive formations. The artillery is working against the human defenders in some crazy twisted way. Like, look, how did you get here, sir? There are Xenos behind the lines. Like, how did he get here? I mean, I guess we know, right? He's propelled by artillery. Now, the remaining human defenders are below 20% of their 100,000 starting amount. I think it's pretty evident what's going to happen in this battle. We are going to lose the city of Dirtburg to the alien menace. We're going to have to send in a re-invasion, a re-defense force with completely different tactics. By the time we get here, they will have converted every human in the city and likely will exceed 1 million aliens, which is terrifying considering how strong they are. Yeah, we need to replace the artillery pieces. Wait a minute, there's only one artillery piece left? Jeez! There's only one artillery piece left. All the rest have been destroyed as the aliens are now flanking and encircling the last bit of the defenders. We've seen the beginning of the end, and this is the end of the end. You see this man right here? Hans and Fritz giving each other one last hug before the aliens... Oh gosh, they're gonna go for the city. 1 million Xenos have taken control of the city. Wait a minute, they're on top of the skyscrapers? And it's just spans across the horizon. But look over there. Humanity's last hope lies in the hands of just a few human defenders. Doesn't look like a handful, but this is the handful of guardsmen that have been able to be marshaled from nearby planets and towns, and this is T-800 Terminators. We're a little bit worried about the situation. It's expected that after the battle they might turn on the humans. Wait a minute. There's already a Terminator and human civil war. Do you guys not know that there's a greater threat? Okay, so, oh my gosh, the Terminators are devastating though. And they move around. They're far more agile of combatants than, say, the guardsmen are. And, wait a minute. Okay, now bear with me. Yeah, we did lose a lot of humans. We did lose a lot of valuable lives. We could exterminate the planet if this fails. It's like the lesser of two evils. Do you want the Xenos to have it or the AI Terminators to have it? Oh my, look at this. The aliens have heard about the skirmish. Obviously, they heard the blaster fire and are now running over to see what's going on. Yikes. That is terrifying. They are pouring over these hills right now. Oh my gosh. What are the Terminators doing? They're just standing there. All right, I wonder if we could just like create a moat. We're gonna create a moat. Yeah, I mean, we should have done some engineering works. Okay, that's just not working at all. In fact, I think we're flooding our Terminators. Hopefully they don't short circuit. You would think if you designed a Terminator to like die to something like water or rain, well, it would be pretty dumb, right? We do have a tsunami. Did we trigger it the wrong way? Did we literally just do that? Guys, who is in command of the defenses here? This is nuts. Okay, so now we gotta see if Terminators can, in fact, fight off those aliens. Now, one thing they're doing is, well, this is odd. AI is smarter than humans? Or at least these ones are. Look at this. They're running from the Xenos, and the Xenos are running from the water here. This guy's running from Xenos into more Xenos. And this is what the battle looks like from the sky. This is just absolute madness. Now, the issue, though, is if you look at the kill feed in the upper right, it does seem like the Terminators might be dying faster because there were 600,000 Terminators and 1 million Xenos after taking the city. I love how, like, the water has created this, like, no man's land. This is a really cool way that the battlefield is sort of evolving. Now, this is what the front lines look like. Sometimes the T-800s, like, just stand and fight, and other times they just run backwards and shoot. Interesting programming. But there is a 2-to-1 kill in favor of the Terminators. I think they might have a chance. Especially if you could do things like, I don't know, control the weather. And create a tornado! I think the aliens might actually survive a tornado. Look at how cool the battle is now that there's these, like, lakes. And you can just see where the front lines are. Wait a minute. Are the aliens stopped? How come some of the aliens are stopped? Never mind. That's not the ground. Those are Terminators. And for whatever reason, they all seem to focus on, you know, a focal point. You get what I'm saying? I swear. This is wild. I don't like the looks of things, though. There's just so many aliens. Even with things like tornadoes. I don't think the defenders are going to have enough. What's going on here? I think they're chasing a singular Terminator. This is hilarious when, that's got to be 1,000 aliens against one Terminator, but they can't get to him. He's just barely out of reach. That being said, once they do take him out, this whole arm could be a pincer and pivot around and maybe even encircle some of the Terminators. If so, that'd be really bad for the defenders here. This is really interesting. I can't explain the mob mentality, the herd tactics here. Oh, that's why. They're just following individual distractionary units. I think this has to be part of the programming. Now, whether or not it's going to backfire or not is yet to be determined. But as the aliens spill in to try to encircle them, it looks like the Terminators are pouring in reinforcements. They're doing a lot better of a job. But it does seem like they're slowly getting encircled, at least on this flank. The rest of the battlefield, let's take a look from the air. It seems like the front line is pretty broad. And these bodies of water are definitely doing a good job at slowing down the Xenos. I don't think that was necessarily planned. Oh, yeah, that's bad. I just realized that the aliens have 52,000 kills and the Terminators have 16,000. So over here, the lines are less strong, and there's far more individual Terminators running around. So the left flank is definitely the weakest side by a considerable margin. It seems the center is the bulwark of the defense here, and they're trying to create a pretty strong perimeter on the right side. When you look at the formation, encirclement seems, well, inevitable. There's way too many Xenos pouring in. If you were looking down at this planet from space, this battle, you would just see human resistance, or rather the automatons that are representing human resistance. Almost completely encircled, dwindling in numbers. What is this in the middle? It's pretty much complete encirclement with small bands of Terminators trying to hold the rear, mostly with distractionary tactics, but I've got bad news. When you look at the stats, the Xenos haven't even lost 10% of their 1 million force army. In certain cases, you'll see a single Xeno just occupying like hundreds of thousands, well, I mean, I guess thousands of blaster shots. Why are the Xenomorphs so strong? What material are their hides made out of? Something seems to be wrong here. But man, does this battlefield look cool from above. The encirclement has been broken, but with the Xenos having over 90% of their force, and the defenders only having probably 30 to 40%, it's not looking good, and we need to think about, well, we need to think about this. Exterminatus the entire planet. I mean, the Terminators aren't humans. We shouldn't feel bad about this, right? Nukes, this is what nukes were made for. Overwhelming alien forces. Now, there'll probably be a couple of aliens that survive this thing. So we're probably gonna need to send some form of cleanup crew, but what unit's gonna be powerful enough to destroy Xenos? Please let me know so that we can use it in the next video. Thank you for watching. I'm gonna go cry. That is beautiful. And I wanna say a big shout out and thank you to Star Wars Hunters for sponsoring today's video. Find out more about the game for yourself using the link in the video description below.